Good afternoon, everybody. For those who I've not yet had a chance to speak to, and I hope I will afterwards, my name's Olly Glover. I'm the Liberal Democrat Member of Parliament for Didcot and Wantage in Oxfordshire, and I'm proud to say that I'm the first non-Conservative Member of Parliament for that constituency since 1924. Thank you very much, very kind. And that just shows the massive scale of political change that we saw in the 2024 general election. I mean, my achievement of becoming the first non-Conservative MP in my own 100 years is nothing compared to many of my colleagues. In some cases, for them, it was the first non-Conservative MP for 150 years, if not even more than that in some cases. It's my first time being a Member of Parliament, and in my first year my challenge has been to learn how to do the job, to be honest. And my pre-Parliament experience, as I introduce myself to people, I'm a recovering railway manager. I spent my whole life managing railways, so managing train drivers, large control centres, negotiating with sometimes quite demanding trade unionists. And learning how to be a Member of Parliament is a very different gig. It's basically like being a publicly funded small business owner in some way. So you get money to create a small team of people, and it's a very strange job because on one level I don't have any bosses. I am my own boss as a publicly funded small business owner. But on another level I have many bosses. The most important bosses, of course, are the 74,000 voters in my seat and all of their children, because they exert some influence as well. But I also have a party leader as a boss. I have a speaker. I have a whip. So it's a very strange and challenging job balancing all of those different requirements and constantly trying to achieve the best balance between serving my constituents and championing the causes that I think are important in Parliament. So it's one that I'm still learning, but I'm very pleased to have survived my first year. And we as Liberal Democrats have come a long way. You know, who even 18 months ago would have believed that Liberal Democrats could go from 15 to 72 MPs in one election? They probably would have said that whoever said that was smoking something that Lib Dems want to legalise, and would have been seen as highly implausible. And that just shows the nature of how much politics has changed in this country. Again, I'm reading a biography of Jimmy Carter at the moment, a US president, and even 2 years before he became president, nobody really took it seriously that he could do it. And similarly, in 2020, when the Conservatives were at the height of their powers and Boris Johnson, there was talk of him being in power for 10 years, nobody really would have believed that A, they would have lost power, nor that Liberal Democrats would make progress. So what I would say to yourselves here in Harrow, who I know you've had great success in the past, but perhaps less so recently, is who knows what is possible. Have that hope, have that belief, because we really are in a state of major political change. And in Parliament as Liberal Democrats, we have been working hard, even as the third party in the context of an enormous Labour majority. We have been working hard to improve things in the country, and I'm just going to tell you about 5 big Lib Dem policy wins that we have been able to have from a position of opposition by championing the right things and working hard with other parties. So number 1, my colleague Josh Babarindi, he's persuaded the government to adopt the idea that domestic abuse offences should become their own formally recognised crime in law, so that we can properly monitor those and hold people to account who commit domestic abuse. This is something that affects hundreds of thousands of households, and we have done that as Liberal Democrats. Had we not been elected, we would not have been able to do it. Number 2, my colleague Max Wilkinson, in the admittedly very bizarre private member bill process, where in effect it's a lottery as to who can pitch their idea, Max Wilkinson came in the top 20, and they're the only ones that get to do anything. I came number 80, so I hope I have more luck in your raffle later. His idea was called the Sunshine Bill, which basically would mandate the installation of solar panels on all new homes. Initially, the government said, oh, well, we like the idea, it's all too difficult. Well, now Ed Miliband has had a Damascene conversion, and he has adopted that idea, and that will now be the default situation of solar panels on all new homes in our country. Number 3, my colleague Sarah Olly MP, who's our Cabinet Office Minister. She's been running a Cabinet Office spokesperson. She's been running a very long campaign to support the victims of sexual offences. And now, as a result of her work, all victims of rape and sexual assault will be able to access sentencing remarks from trials and interviews without charge, providing clarity and supporting survivors. So a very technical achievement, but a very, very important one for victims of those utterly appalling and egregious crimes. Number 4, My colleague Munira Wilson, who's our spokesperson for education, through her work, supported by all of us, any child in England whose parents receive universal credit will now be eligible for free school meals from next year, which will improve nutrition and learning and help with the cost of living. That's been a long-standing Liberal Democrat policy that we have got into place. And finally, no less importantly, my colleague Danny Chambers, who was a vet before becoming Parliament, and he still is, he used his private member bill to bring forward legislation to end puppy smuggling. And that law will close the loophole which allows mutilated pets into the UK. So that's just well, thank you very much. I'll pass all of those applauses on to them. So those are just a few examples of the difference that we can make when Liberal Democrats, we go from having very little influence to having quite a lot of influence. We can genuinely effect change. And let's now turn to the future. So politics is in even more state of flux than it was a year ago, which is hard to imagine. Generally, those of us who are political nerds, and I appreciate not everyone here is. I know a lot of people have come here because they're Rotarians, and I thank you very much for your service and your volunteering in the community and everything that you do. But I'd imagine most of you do not avidly look at local council by-election results on a Friday morning that have happened the evening before. But if I'm slandering you by suggesting you don't do that, then I do apologise. But those of us who do, what tends to happen each week now is in Liberal Democrat areas, either where we hold council seats or we're challenging, we tend to win against Conservatives or Labour for that matter. And the other people who tend to win are Reform. They are tending to win from nowhere and just gaining seats from the Conservatives and Labour. And increasingly, that is what is happening in our politics. I do quite a lot of canvassing, both in my own constituency and elsewhere, and you meet fewer and fewer people who are willing to admit, and I think it's not just they're not willing to admit, I think they don't, fewer and fewer people who vote Conservative or who vote Labour. They are looking for fresh representation given our broken politics. And depending on where they sit on the spectrum, they tend to either look to Reform or to the Liberal Democrats. And in the context of Harrow, that is your opportunity. Because as a Conservative and Labour battleground, huge numbers of people will be very disenchanted with both of those parties. Labour, because despite their big majority, they really have lost people's faith through various things they've done in terms of changes to the welfare system, changes to winter fuel, just a general lack of competence in terms of how they've governed the country, putting all of the tax increases on employers' national insurance contributions, which had a devastating impact on small and medium enterprise. And the Conservatives, I just don't really know what the point of them is anymore, to be honest. I mean, Kemi Badenoch at Prime Minister's Questions makes a fool of herself every week. And whenever she's on the media, she just basically says, oh, it's too early for us to have any policies. You're the official opposition to Her Majesty's government. It's not acceptable for you to say that it's too early for you to have policies. That is your job, is what I would say to her. You are there to challenge the government and to provide the country with hope and with leadership and an alternative. Look, they've both completely lost things. So that's why you have a great opportunity here in Harrow. And Joe's doing a fantastic job as your chair. This is a brilliantly well-organised event. I was saying this to him earlier. I genuinely mean this. I wish my local party could put on social and fundraising events of this quality, because we don't tend to, genuinely. So I might steal him as a contractor. So you're doing the right things, and by targeting Rayner's Lane, somewhere where you've had strength in the past and somewhere that is a Conservative and Labour marginal, that is the right place to target. But I would also say to everybody in this room, if you are a member of the Liberal Democrats, or if you're amenable to what the Liberal Democrats have to offer, whether that's on health and social care, or getting us closer to Europe, or reforming our politics, then if you've not already been asked, or if you've not already committed, then please do commit yourselves to standing for local council next May. It doesn't mean that that is a commitment to winning, but the important thing is that on every single ward in Harrow, there needs to be a Liberal Democrat name, or more than one Liberal Democrat name, so that everybody who wants to vote Liberal Democrat has the opportunity to do that. And by standing in those places, you will not be making any commitment beyond having your name on a ballot paper, and that in itself will make so much difference. But if you're not willing to do that, then please do agree to deliver leaflets, knock on doors, or indeed to donate money to the local party, because politics is an expensive business. But please, whatever you do, if you are fed up with this government, if you don't think the Conservatives are providing a viable alternative, if you do want to see major change in our country, then please do something. Do one of those things that I've mentioned, because we need you, the country needs you, Harrow needs you, and you can make a difference. Thank you so much.